Hi, good evening, friends, once again, and a very warm welcome to the JHS Excellencia series. This is the 10th edition of JHS Excellencia series. This is part of the learning and development initiatives taken up by Team JHS to upskill teams on digital age competencies. We convene this session on a monthly basis where we invite all our friends, our clients, team members, employees of JHS to learn from industry stalwarts on their world views on leading topics of relevance. And this series aims to provide insights from wisdom of leading professionals on variety of subjects. Today, we have taken up the subject of use of artificial intelligence, Chat GPT in business functions. And we have an eminent faculty with us, Ms Yukti Arora, the founder of Aumyaa Consulting Services. And before I go to introduce Yukti, just a little bit more about the JHS Excellencia series. That this series has been conducted since the COVID pandemic started, and we initiated this learning and development digital initiative to spread awareness, knowledge on burning issues. And we've had stalwarts who have addressed this session in the past, including Mr. Sandeep Batra, the Executive Director of ICICI Bank, Mr. Sailesh Haribhakti, a well-known chartered accountant and a personality that needs no introduction, Mrs. Nandita Parekh, the ex-partner, lead partner, internal audit of CNK, and so forth. And we've got all the recordings of these sessions available on our YouTube channel as well. And now with that little bit of an introduction about JHS Excellencia series, a warm welcome to Yukti. Yukti, thanks for joining the session today and making yourself available. Uh, I will briefly introduce Yukti to all of you. She is the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Aumyaa Consulting Services. She has more than 2 decades of experience in the fields of technology governance, process controls, technology risk advisory. A large part of her career has been spent in industry and the big four firms. She has extensively serviced sectors that include manufacturing, consumer, automobiles, e-commerce, BPO, and IT sectors. She has led and managed several large projects of system control, cyber, and privacy advisory. Again, a very relevant subject while India braces with the new digital privacy regulation. ERP advisory services, GRC implementations, process redesigns, enterprise risk management implementations, SOX, IFC design and implementations, and in particular, she has developed good level of capabilities in robotic process automation and third-party audit and assurance. She has also done a proof of concept on the blockchain technology, and she has managed multi-core portfolio management and IT outsourcing projects for listed clients in India. She has led training initiatives for 350 plus career professionals in a tenure with the Big Four, Big Five firms, and was part of the Global Innovation Council representing Southeast Asia, focusing more on emerging technologies. Yukti is a regular speaker at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She has also contributed at IIA programs extensively, including on the topics of Chat GPT, AI, etc. And it's really our privilege to have her today amongst us as an expert faculty and guide on the subject of use of artificial intelligence and Chat GPT in business functions. And Yukti, we have already talked about 140 plus participants today. They come from a variety of sectors, industries, regions, and many of them are even from out of the country. So I welcome all the participants, and we will have a question answer session with Yukti after she completes her 1 hour of presentation. So with that, I hand over the charge to Yukti to take this session further ahead. Thanks once again, all of you for joining, and thank you, Yukti, for joining us today.
Thanks, Josefa, for this introduction, and thank you all in JHS for inviting me for this Excellency series and all the participants. It's a real pleasure to be speaking to you on this topic, which is Chat GPT. So I'll quickly go to the presentation and present. So if you, I hope you can see my slide.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. So, first of all, before we go further into this, I just wanted to let you know that ChatGPT is more for the people on the business side. Why? Because see, what happens is with emerging technologies becoming more and more um, available, the need was felt that these technologies should be adapted. Otherwise, these technology are of no use. So that is why lot of efforts were made, first of all, to build a technology which is no code. And then after those things were there and the data was collected and all the information was available, the next step was to make it available that the business functions, end users can use it as it is without the needs of programmers, coders, etc. Only what it requires us to be little open-minded and just look at the technology, embrace the technology, and be little tech savvy. So, what is a chat GPT and why should you care about it? So, this topic doesn't need much of an introduction. That it's like an LP and it's something where you can use chat, staff meals, do lot of activities. But why we should care about it is very important answer to be given because the various studies, including the study of future of work by World Economic Forum and all, they have clearly identified that artificial intelligence, adoption of artificial intelligence is actually a if we don't adopt, we will be left behind. So there is no choice but to actually embrace it, adopt it, and move forward with it. And therefore, we should embrace it and we should try to see where all we can use it. And to do that, that is why we are having this like session. So straight away, like I will go to the demo because that is what like I thought would be useful. And I want this session to be as useful and practical. So I will go to the chat GPT and directly and show you how we can leverage this thing. So let me present the screen. Yeah, so can you see my screen? So I have logged into Chat
Yes, we
GPT.
can see you.
Yes, I have logged into the Chat GPT. This is the third, like there are a lot of versions of Chat GPT. The GPT-4 is there. It's a paid version. This is a free version, which is where I have logged in. And it's very simple. It's if you go to this website and just type like Chat GPT login, the first page you will get is this one. And just you can open this and just giving your username and password, you can log in. If you have a Gmail account, you can link it with that also. So where like you can just mention your login details since I have already logged in. So, but where when you click, you can give the login details and you can go straight to it. Before we start, let us first understand some of the important like aspect of limitation. See, as an auditor, as an accountant, as a finance professional, we always know how to manage the risk. So therefore, the first and the foremost thing we should, and that's where like it's extremely important for us to look what it can do and what it cannot do. So many a times it will give incorrect information. So still like what happens is if you feel that this is a something which is coming from the tool or something, you can rely. It's not like that. You will still require to have a human element. You will have to evaluate it, take a judgment, and decide based on that whether you want to deal with it or not. Because there are a lot of biases also, which sometimes comes. Secondly, it sometimes gives a result which is very harmful also. Like for example, if you use it for your financial analysis, It may give a result which may not be useful for your organization. It may give a wrong interpretation. It may give a biased thing. Because the data which it has been developed, or model which has been developed, is not suited for what analysis you are doing. So be aware of that. And since this is a free version, so it has a limited knowledge. So they for no data, no information post 2021 has been updated. So therefore, one has to be aware that is still an old one and 2 years dated information. So always these type of limitations are there. But also it is important for us to understand the capability, where exactly we can use this. So of course we can use this for various types of conversation, getting the response of earlier when we were using internet, we were getting lot and lot of information. But here we get one single answer. And that answer is a concise, precise like answer covering the input from various sources, developing and giving one response. It allows us to, if it is incorrect, if you find it is not there, you can go back. But there is a limitation on the size of it, like maximum word it accepts is 8,000. And if you make it inappropriate, decline it, then it tries to learn from it and it brings a better perspective the next time we give. So these types of like capability it has. So all sorts of like, if you look at it, there are various ways in which you can use it. Currently, it is being more used for the purpose, like for example, this AI thing, it can be used for accelerating. Accelerating means you can send emails, you can send various notes, content, advertisement, etc. Even for code generation. So it helps in accelerating the business, um, uh, uh, handling the small tasks which are there, which are to be done, but still like are not the ones which are very automated type of like thing. It helps us to personalize. When I say personalize, you can give a personal touch to your communication. You can give a personal touch to the presentations. You can give a personal touch to the images, to the design, to various types of presentations which are you are making to the customers. Like in case you use for customer support services, etc., you can personalize, and they are models for that. It can help us to also automate certain, they are APIs which are available, which you can connect and can help us in automating. It can help us also in creating. When I say creating, you can do simulations, you can do various types of activities and see what the result is. But it is not in this Chat GPT part of it, but they are AI models, which I will discuss with you in the coming like slides. So let us first start like using it. Some of it I've already like tried while I was preparing, so I did a lot of practice before I came to this session. So yes, some of it I will show from what I have already tried, but yes, some of it I will just try to type and see, give you the response on the go. So let us like start. For example, in current day world in finance function, we have to like hire people who are tech savvy, who understand digital strategy, who understand how the entire like function of adoption of digital has to happen. And let us assume we are wanting to hire a digital as person who knows digital tech strategy, is aware of tech, and also is required to do the job of planning and analysis. So if we want to hire that person, but we don't know what type of job description that person should be having, we are not clear about it, we can just use this to type and get like the job description. So like I've just put like what we want to hire, um, a digital strategy. See, this is a prompt. What I'm typing over here is a prompt. Okay. I'm just typing a prompt. So and what I'm giving over here is I'm giving a very clear instruction that I want to hire for digital strategy. The person should be tech savvy. So I'm giving the attributes for building my AI driven financial planning and analysis function. Please share the job description. If I want to make it industry specific, I can make, please share the job description for let us say BFSI bank. So I'll just put banking company. So I have given a clear attributes, and if I give like this, so I'll get a response which will clearly tell me the job description of that person, the type of skill sets that person is required, and also it will give the key responsibilities of that person. So you can see it is giving me all these things along with the qualification of that person. And it is also giving some of the tools, technology, the language they should be knowing about. So this all is there. If you don't like the answer, you can regenerate. So this is like what it get. Now many of us like at the finance function, may even if we put this thing, we may not be the right person or may not have the right set of capability also sometime to evaluate the skills of that person, that whether that person will be doing the job in the right manner or what type of questions for interview we should be asking and when we are interviewing this type of person. So we can even get the criteria and interview questions for the same. And just like we can type it over here and we can get what type of questions. So the essence is like it can be used for facilitate the recruitment process. It can help us in building our capabilities, which are tech savvy, by giving a clear like job descriptions, providing us a clear way of selection and putting a clear summary of what we should be doing. Even when you get the response from that person, right, when you're asking this question, you may type it and based on that, you may try to see what type of it is. There is a mechanism in which you can even rate that person using this chat GPT. It can also help you in selection of that person by giving you a clear if you have those feature like things recorded and give attributes that these are 4 5 people I've interviewed and these were the responses, which one you feel is the better one, it can give you those type of responses as well. But as I mentioned, they could be a bias, they could be a wrong thing. So we always have to look at what we are getting, what response we are getting, and all those things. So we are like we can see what the entire flow of the communication, the interview questions have been given to us. And we may tweak it as per our organization requirement, as per our culture, as per our various types of thing. Now, let us take another example, and because nowadays it is expected that finance function should be very, very much responsive. And in fact, the intent of most of the organization is to build a self-service finance function wherein there are tools and technologies wherein the finance like it's a touchless thing and all sort of like communications to the vendors, to the customers, to the employees, including the investors, are done in a touchless mechanism. So let us see how we can build that. So I put like one question. We want to provide self-service to the vendors. We have a Ariba tool. I've look at the way the like the prompt one has to be very, very specific. And the SAP, we want to answer query of vendor payment status, tax, TDS, GST queries, good receipt queries, how to integrate. See, what happens is when we start discussing these things with our tech people, specifically when finance team gives the requirement and also tech people sometimes say, no, it is not feasible. It will take us a lot of time. And sometimes they give us a response that we don't have like that uh, these types of APIs are not even available, right? And we don't have an answer to those types of things. Sometimes we may want to have our own like tech person coming and doing these types of implementation along with the IT person. So we need to evaluate and find the answers for it. And many a times we want some our own person also to be overseeing from a finance function to look at whether the implementation is going in the right way. But that person may not be having that information. So these types of things are there. In fact, you can, when if I just query this out, so you can see the response that how it will give, like how you can, what are the precise steps you have to do how you can bring the synchronization of data, how you can configure the various things, what types of things, mechanisms, or the queries you can develop, and it's giving the entire like information. Of course it will be subject to very, because there's a limit to the size of these things and it is little at a high level, but yes, brief information it can surely provide to us. Now let us see, if I want to see the code also, if I want to develop it myself nowadays, one of the skill which everybody of us should be knowing and learning is the Python and the Panda library. And many of it is like API integration. So if I like say I want to code it, I want like if I want to give some code also, that I can get precisely the codes of the things and on the SAP and the Ariba. So the code it will give will be very, very specific because it's self-learned from the previous questions. So you can see, like I didn't mention it was Ariba or SAP this time, but the way it is giving, we just look at the thing. I didn't say I want to code on Ariba or thing. I just said I want to code for self-services and it's giving me the code. So these types of like responses I can get, and including the way this can happen. And I have tested these codes also. So these codes are actually running and it works well. Of course, you have to customize as per your data structure and data style. But yes, it can surely work in these types of thing, and you have to optimize it and you have to make it more precise as per your business environment, so that those things are required. The model also, you have to look at it whether the correct information is flowing or not. Now let me ask another like question. uh, Finance functions has lot of sensitive information, critical information, and they also require to be cyber secure. And for that, they require to have their inventory of information which they are having, their inventory of what type of data, etc. they are having, and they need to manage that information. So if I want to ask a question, can I build a typical asset register for finance considering confidentiality, availability, and sensitivity as the key parameter? I'm just putting this question. So I'll get a response which is there. Now, if you look at it, the response will come in the tabular form. So typically, finance functions has these types of things. They have a core financial application, database, payment gateways, budget spreadsheets, employee payroll, vendor database, financial reports, backup, internal audit log, workstation information, and then the explanation of each one of them. Of course, it is not comprehensive. There are a lot of missing of a part of it, but it gives us some way to also rate it to say and look at it there. It has classified it also into confidentiality, integrity, availability, and sensitivity. This is something which we'll have to revisit as per our business environment, as per our business risk, and also as per our overall risk appetite. But it gives us a basic thing and also gives us a criteria of how the classification has happened. Now let us see another use case of it. Now we have an IT asset, and initially, like for example, we want to utilize this tool for some of our decisions, specifically on the accounting standards, on the auditing standards. And if it is a company who is trying to see if the assets were there, but the useful life of assets initially was 4 years, and they want to change it to 6 years. And I put a question, what does accounting and auditing standard issued by ICI speaks about the same? I don't know the standard, so I've just written like that. If I know, I can be a little more precise. It depends on how who is querying and what type of querying. So I've intentionally not given the standard, just wanted to see whether it is correctly giving the entire information. Also, what document I need to share with my auditor as an evidence for the same. So I'm just querying this thing, and you can find a response which is very precise. So it will give the way in which it has happened. It talks about Indian Accounting Standard 16A or AS10. Then the useful life has to be changed, what needs to be done. Then the disclosure requirements and what documentations have to be shared with the auditor. You may just look at the response which it has given. Of course, as I mentioned, you will have to look at it in much more detail. Just see the response it has given. So more or less, it gives the right set of response. So this is the code like which comes at the back of it. But let me close this code. This is the response. We have the what type of documents we have to prepare for the auditor. And if I want to get the templates for the same, I can also get the templates. So if I type over here, like, please provide me the template for documentation. So it will give me a template which may not be absolutely correct, but then still like it gives some idea. So we can use this. It can act as a buddy. It can really act as a buddy with the finance, specifically the new finance personnel, the people who are on at a junior level who just want some ways of doing it. So it can provide us that information. In fact, complex decisions on accounting standards, etc., we may post our queries and it can give us some suggestions which we may want to utilize in this case. So now, I want to also like educate, like many times finance, like we want to educate our team members and all. So I've just given, can you provide me, prepare e-learning on AS10 for account finance for professional. So it will give me the content, like of what all should be there in that e-learning like thing. It gives all the aspects, the scope, then the ways it should be covered. So the entire like structure of the e-learning, the high level bullets are provided based on which we can prepare the thing, including the assessment part of, we can design the quiz, we can design the assessment, all those like aspects we can do from this. Now, if I want to get a link of some of the e-learnings which are readily available, so I just want some like links to be provided to me. So I just make a search. Can you give the link? So it will give me some links also. Obviously, we'll have to visit those sites and see if they are working or not. Over here, like the links which are given are not direct, so there are no websites which are given. And since it is too dated little one, so but I can write Also, I can query further. Please give me the website. Interestingly, you will see that it has not given institute's website. It's not given the C Institute website. So that is again like that's why I'm saying they are so like we have to look at it in a proper manner. The data which is fed, the places where it goes is like all based on whatever it is pre-fed over here. And many a times there are biases also which are there. So we have to be totally aware of these type of aspects. Now, if we want to like prepare some checklist also. For example, many a times what happens is that we have to do a certain checklist and various types of things for the purpose of various business managing various business functions, etc. So in that case, we can also use this tool for doing various types of checklists. For we can use it for a financial closing reporting purpose. We can use it for preparing our month end reporting calendars and all those like elements. So for example, I am let's see for the monthly closing the checklist. If I am wanting to prepare, I give that prompt that please prepare checklist covering these functions and for in do the most to do the monthly closing. So when I'm putting this type of query, it will give me a checklist for performing the monthly closing with a possible due date. So if I and the actions which are to be done. So this is how like in finance functions for various aspects of business we can use this thing a lot. And if we want to be little more precise, we can put a proper prompt and give them a better description so that we get a thing. So I didn't like the response of this thing. I will just say I didn't like the response. I will put the thumb down and I'll say this isn't true. This isn't helpful and submit a feedback. And it will give us a new response. So that also we can do. Now let us like look at if we want to we want to do this at same activity considering 30th as our timeline. So right from the recruitment to the planning to the aspects of decision making on various types of um, hiring to the aspects of preparing various types of checklists, we can use this chat GPT. In fact, we can use this also for the purpose of classifying the information, doing various types of analysis for the purpose of reconciliation. Now let us move to that aspect where we are trying to do little more out of it and we want to like use it for a mailing purposes and and then we'll go to the analysis part of it. So I want to like mail my customer following up on my payments. So if I put that command, it will draft a mail. Since it is drafting in the previous, let it finish. And there are various APIs which are available, which business can use to convert into Excel format. So there are open APIs which are also available. Even the Excel has a API through which we can import, but that feature is available in GPT-4. So now I'm just trying to see mails to be sent for following up the payment. So it will draft that mail. Many a times in finance function, want to utilize and we want to do analysis, but the team member, the junior team members whom we want to take up that responsibility, sometimes are not aware like how the data should be, what all information they should gather, and what is the analysis they should be doing about. So to get like this information also, we can use this GPT. So I'll just like I've given prepare a dummy data for sales performance analytics, prepare data business unit product wise monthly data, which should have be for the whole financial year. So it will give me a clue like how I should collect the data, what all information I should be asking, and it will provide me a complete like information with respect to this thing. This is what you can do, and if you want to go more granular, you can just go a little more granular and ask them to synthesize the data and all. See, generally, it is not advisable to give your own company data because you don't know about confidentiality. You don't know about how the data is going to be used. So the best way and a conservative way to use this is to get the information from the tool itself, from this itself, wherein we can just ask how to prepare the data, what is the data we should be collecting, what types of key attributes we should be selecting, and then based on that like information we can just start like doing this. So if I didn't like the response of it, so I would may put a simple question. So it's still generating, I think so. So it's it has become unresponsive. So I will just go to that page where I left. So, as I was mentioning, there are various other tools also which are available. So, let me take you to those things. So, the success of entire GPT is actually on the prompt or the command which is we are giving. This is a site learnprompt.org. It helps us to define a prompt in the right manner. There are various elements which we should be considering while giving a prompt. One of the very important thing is to be as specific as it is, and at the same time be concise and precise of what we want to actually do. So we should be knowing what exactly we want and what result we are looking forward for, and therefore it has to be extremely important. And it gives the prompts also that we can ask the questions. In fact, we can see how the responses are coming from various sites also. So this is one of the sites where we can just learn. And I just put like start here. So you can see we can even get prompts which are for various business functions. Let me like take you to there over there where it is for the various business functions as well. And there are various AI tools. So it is like Chat GPT is just one part of this tool, but there are multiple tools which are available. You can see there are so many of the tools which are available, and you can use any one of them. You can try using, including the generative AI. Now, let me go to this top tool, and you can see over here, there are some AI tools for accounting. There are tools for Excel. There are some business tools as well. Then there are digital marketing tools, tools for e-commerce. So for each, they're classified for each one of them, including a tool for the lawyers. Now let me go one by one. Accounting tool is more, it is more QuickBook and those types of like thing, because in US these things have been developed and QuickBook is one of the prominent thing. But if we look at the tools for the Excel, let us look at the tools for the Excel. So you can just see there are multiple tools. One of them is the Excel formula board. So the tool, what it does, it helps you in this giving the formulas and testing those various types of formulas, and it integrates both with Excel and as well as this one GPT Excel. Again, this GPT Excel, like many of us don't know how to write a formula. So we write a sentence, and when we write a sentence, it generates the formula. Again, this formula generator is also like that. Prompt loop is one which is like which links to the GPT-3 and Excel, and it helps us to categorize, summarize, and link those things. So these types of tools are available. We may try as per our like business requirement, but very good tool out of this is this GPT Excel. It is good. It helps us to do various types of analysis, and also it helps us in doing the formula generation. Again, the Excel formula bot is also a very useful tool which we can use. Now, another like important tool which we can use is these ones, which is the business tools. So in this business tool, you will find various types of tools which are for your media management, for your ingest AI. It's can be used if you have some technical knowledge-based documents and you want to use it for the purpose of analysis and building your programs, your content, your knowledge conversion of it for reading by various personnel, so that you can do. And also it has the chat functionality wherein it can link to the chat and you can get the response. So this is another very useful tool which can be used. Then Zoho Zia is also a good like business AI assistant. Many of us may be using Zoho. So again, it helps us to increase the sales team productivity by analyzing the data from the customer, providing them and response, automating various types of reminders which are there. If some information is missing, like on the leads which we are generating, so following up with the salesperson, providing a response to the customer. So that is where it can be leveraged. So these types of AI tools are also available. And in many places, you can also like, I'll just take you another tool, which is for the lawyers, because many of it can be used by the finance functions as well, specifically on the legal compliance side. So one of it is like patent poll, which is for the patent related information. ChatGPT, we have seen it helps us in analyzing and drafting, etc. But another important one is Humanta AI. This tool helps in researching. So if you want to create a report, you push a legal document, it allows you to read, get the information, summarize, synthesize, and extract the key information for the purpose of citing of various cases, etc. So this is another tool which can be leveraged by the thing. And there are various prompts also which are available. So let me go to this prompt. This is a site called Prompt Perfect, like where you can, this is another place where you can learn how to write the prompt. In fact, your prompts which you give, you can optimize it because so that it guides you how to optimize your prompt and construct that. In fact, prompt engineering is the key element for success of this thing. Let us like go back to the Chat GPT. I have to log in again. Yeah. So what happens is whatever the analysis, whatever we have done, it gets stored. So this is another aspect which we must be aware of. If we want to delete, we can delete this information. Also, there's an option to delete. And if you want to refer, we can refer. These things are available for last 30 days. So that information gets stored and it's available for last 30 days. We can always go back to the previous thing, which is not responsive because I think we have given lot of like information the last time. Now, I'll just put the another question, which is like very important also for us that if we want to summarize the sales performance, like if we want to prepare a data on sales and then we want to summarize it. So I'll just give this question. This page is unresponsive. Yeah. Good. So it can give this thing, and if I want to analyze this data, I can just give those commands. If we want to do some analysis, it can give us the commentary also on the above. So here you can see that it's generating the commentary. So if we have our own data also, we want to ask it to give a commentary, it to give a feedback or give some analysis. We can just put that information and then it will help us in drawing the commentary out of that information. giving us a strategy to boost the sale, manage the expenses. So these recommendations we can use. Now, again, like many a times as a finance professional, we get various notifications from the government, from the tax regulatory authorities, from the RBI with respect to implementation. So what I've done is I have there was an RBI master direction, IT outsourcing master direction. So I'll just show you so I have put that master direction, the complete text over here. So it was in PDF. I converted it into Word format. And then from the Word, I just copied, pasted the entire content of the master direction. So first what I did was I copied every content of this thing. So as I was copying and it kept on like giving me what is to be seen in that, what were the key points. So that commentary it kept on giving. So again, this was like because cannot capture more than 8,000 words. So I had to break it. It was 23 pages. So I had to break it into various segments and I put it section wise and chapter wise. I copied pasted the entire part of it. Once I did this entire copying into this thing, and I just asked at the end of it, once all this was done, including the circulars here and the appendix. Once it all was done, I asked it to prepare a summary for report what the key people in the organization should be asked looking forward for. So I asked them to give us specific information to be considered by CTO, CISO, CRO, procurement, CFO, CEO, and board members. So it gave us the complete key aspect which has to be seen by various departments and functions. So it can be used to communicate within the organization that this new circular has come. These are the key elements in the circular which has to be brought to be considered by various departments and functions. Now, I also wanted to prepare an FAQ for the various department professionals. So I then asked them, can you prepare the FAQ based on this circular? So then it helped me in preparing those FAQs also. Many of it, I reviewed it. Those FAQs were obviously most of it was correct. In certain cases, it requires little fine tuning and more information. And since it was a concise one, so not every possible FAQs were covered in this type of thing. I wanted to prepare a checklist for this for compliance purpose. So I asked them to prepare a tabular checklist for it. So I got this tabular checklist for various aspects which were covered in this circular. Then I wanted it to draft a policy. One of the essential requirement of it is to draft a policy. So I asked it to prepare a policy. You look at it, see it has drafted the policy with a clear introduction, purpose, scope, definition. Then in the key elements of the policies are there, which is as per the circular. And also it has review of policy review and policy communication aspects. I asked it to prepare the risk control matrix to manage the entire thing. So it prepared along with the risk and control the measurement mechanism as well. So we can see this has a vast usage in various business applications. And as you are as I showed, this is just one of them, and there are multiple applications which are available. I will take you to another site, which is AI Scout. So if you look at this AI Scout, it also has a mechanism where we can browse various types of AI tools. And there you can see from the pricing type also platforms, what type of platforms you are having. And that, like, for example, I wanted a WhatsApp bot, which can be, and so I just checked like on the WhatsApp bot and I just went ahead and after doing this, to like make a search over here. I want AI for WhatsApp bot, and then I did a search all categories. If I want to be specific, I can be specific. I can just be very, very specific. If I want it for finance function only, I can be as specific for finance. Like if I want for AI model, I can go and be search for the AI model part only. There are various models which I use for text, for conversion, for various things, for the aspects of reading various images, for various types of like conversions of voice to content or from content to voice. So all those like models are available and we can build our own GPTs using this, and all of them are very, very user friendly thing. There is another site which is most popular, which is this Hugging Face. This Hugging Face is actually being used. It's a community for those who are working on in the AI space. It has various models, data set to test it, various spaces where you can share document repository and solutions and pricing. And you can see lot and lot of like libraries, interfaces, endpoints, etc., which are available. So this field is really emerging, and it is up to us how much we are able to explore and how much we are able to visit these sites and see what is useful for our organization and adopt and make it useful for us. There is another one which is cohere.com. It is combination of AI plus platform, wherein it provides various products also, and at the same time it enables for the developers also to develop various types of models, build some interfaces, etc. For business also, it helps us you can look at it. It helps us to do the various types of conversation, to work on various types of customization. So on your existing ERPs, on your existing platforms, if you want to build certain AI is part of it, you can build. For example, in our like case, we have built it. We do JV analysis, so we have built it to analyze the output which is coming from there to see and drive the meaning out of the analysis which are coming out of it. Many companies who are into putting lawyers who are into policy, we're putting various types of judgments, etc., and preparing the case sheets and etc. So they have started using these applications to derive more meaning to the existing case laws and to prepare their the new cases which they are going to file, and also to do a better research on the evidences or the information they already have. So that is where they are making a use of this thing. There are various products also which are there. Like if you look at OpenAI, it has also various types of models, and then there is one important DAL is. This is another very useful thing. It is for image and various types of art to text, and it has the styles of converting into various types of art forms, etc. This then there is a Whisper. So if you want to convert the content into speech and also translate it into multiple language, then this is another AI tool which can be used. And then for developers, there are various mechanisms wherein they can extract from the chat, integrate in their existing application, build a model, and then fine tune it as per the business requirement. So these types of mechanisms exist. I'll go back to my PPT now. So in this demo, like what I have covered is essentially the usage of Chat GPT for hiring, various types of self-services, preparing up one asset register, risk register, making it as a buddy for finance, helping us in e-learning, sending mails, and doing various types of analysis. We can download the circulars, get the FAQs, use it for communication, prepare checklists, prepare policy, prepare risk control metrics. We've discussed about prompt engineering, and a good prompt is very precise, very much into giving a proper context. If you give a context like you are a finance professional, or you, in case you are a internal auditor, you can give a prompt that I am an internal auditor and I want to do this. So from internal audit perspective, it will give. So giving a context, giving what background, it helps the AI to give a better response. So this is on the pricing side of it. They have free models also which are available. But in case we want to use a better like GPT-4 one, so obviously there is like a cost per token per I like it's 0.06, and it helps basically to integrate API integration happens, and it is not very costly. Considering if you are doing a fine tuning, and if you after doing the fine tuning you fix that like thing, and so that the content itself which is pushed or the prompt itself is optimized, and the response also, if you have got a correct response, if you already have that, you start training your model based on that. So you can accelerate your development, your AI development cycle by using these types of AI already built AI softwares. So some of the good like aspects of prompt engineering which we should be aware of is to give a proper goal. We have to be very specific of what we have to get out of it. In case we want to restrict, like we want to have a bullets only, if we want to have in a tabular form, or we have to want in a particular way, or like a code or in a JSON form, we have to give a proper like format and the constraint and extra information. And the more we build a role play to it, the better the response it can give from to us. And we have done that. There are certain limitations which we all should be aware of. First of all, because it picks up data from anywhere and we don't know from where it is picking. So there are issues on the trust side of it. There could be a breach of confidentiality. There could be a breach of various types of intellectual property. So we have to be totally aware of this thing, because ultimate responsibility is our. Data privacy is another important aspect. If we are sharing a personal information, because it builds and picks from various sources, sometimes it can be abusive. Sometimes this information, if it is passed on, it can be compromised. Your personal information can be compromised. Your taste, your preference, your style of search, your area, what area you want to, you are working on, all that can be compromised. Then a lot of it is like it's getting trained, so answers may not be accurate, and sometimes it can be actually misleading. There's a hallucination which is also there. There are models which could have a bias in it. There's a possibility of data leakage, because if the people who are using, they pass on your company's information, which could be confidential and sensitive, it may result in a huge breach of data. And of course, like the ultimate responsibilities on the organizations. Nobody will say that you have used AI or all those like things. The reputation, the trust is a biggest risk, which I think we have to be very careful of while using this. Many of them are using to promote on social media, to write a blog for them, to put a newsletter for them, to write a even Instagram post for them. But sometimes the content may not be the correct content. So we have to be very cautious about using it in that manner. So I think that's all from my side. And I just wanted to leave with this last final slide. which is that our data is spread across. It could be through various sources, various like systems, and as a finance functions build that data and use it for various reportings, for forecasting, for operational things. And we serve regulators, investor, creditors, analysts, board, various aspects of employees, customers, vendors, etc. So if we know our data well, if we understand our business well, if we know what is our end goal of it, we can surely leverage all these tools and bring an impact to our end users. So that's all from my side. Like if you have any questions, I can take that.
Thanks, Yukti, for a very exciting and wonderful session. There are some questions in the chat box if you'd like to just look at them and take them one by one.
Yes, yes.
I think the first one is by Mr. Rahul Day. Any legal or copyright concerns if we use extract of Chat GPT in any official reports documents? You've already addressed it, but if you'd like to specifically comment on it.
Yeah, yeah. So there is actually, you are right. There is a lot of concern on those like areas, specifically when we are using these our own information and providing details of the cases, etc. And it can have a huge impact to the organization. So one has to have a very, very good risk management framework. We have to educate. See, at like youngsters are very, very much into it, and they have already using this, and they are wanting to use it more and more because it is convenient. It helps us to give the analysis in a shortest period of time. But there is a need for a risk management framework to be implemented to understand and give a clear like direction, what is to be done, what is not to be done. And very much like we have to make them aware that there could be a breach both from a internal perspective as well as the information which we may be getting and using. So that is something which we have to be aware of.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Satish Shenoy. Does Chat GPT give only one answer to a question, or are there many answers to the same question?
Yeah, yeah. So, as they could be like if you don't like if you regenerate, there could be many like second answer also. So I'll share with you my journey when we started. Like we wanted to integrate this some part of it. So when we tried to build a model, so it gave us one answer. Then after 1 hour, like the same thing, it gave us another answer, and then gave it in another form. Right. So what is essential is that you have to give a feedback, and you have to use a embedding and fine tuning mechanism so that you can fix that like model and then you can start using it. So I think the next question is, will not the use of ChatGPT undermine and challenge human judgment caliber? Like personal interview output verification for correctness you mentioned, you are right. Actually, like it can impair this like thing, and lot of it would be very, very sensitive also if we start using in this type of mechanism. But that was just a like thing. See, all these things are just to share with you the capability of AI, what are there and what are not there. And the challenge is there that the human is like, it looks like we have to work with machine, and at the same time, we have to also make sure that we are using it in the right manner. And also making sure that we are ethical in the entire process in which we are using this. And our judgment obviously is going to be the most important part of it, of deciding where and how and what we have to be using. And if we depend totally on it, then obviously, like many people, we have seen the journey of calculator. When many people only start using calculator and they forget even calculation, basic calculations. I hope that answers.
Yes, very much. Shall we
Yeah.
move to the next questions? There are 2, 3 more questions.
Yeah. So there is another Chat GPT results are fine results from collection of knowledge pool of human. It's just finer version of search engine. Please, we are free to use or not. Okay, that's an answer. Any legal or copyright concern if we use a Chat GPT? Yes, there is of course a legal and copyright issue and concern because it doesn't give any reference. It doesn't give any part of it where we are. So therefore, we have to be extremely cautious while using that. We may be breaching some of the IPs and therefore it's very important that we are totally aware of this thing, and when we present anything, we do our own research. Like from if the content is not copied from somewhere, if there's no breach of copyright, so those types of research we need to do before we start using it. Are the response authentic, including for statutory requirement? See, it's all depends. Like we get the response, but still, human judgment is required. Totally depending on this is not the correct way of dealing with it because these models are also getting trained. They also get evolving, and not every answer would be correct. And as an auditor or as a finance professional, we know the requirement much better. So it's always better for us to use ourselves and validate before we start using it. Okay, so
Yukti, I
there,
think in the interest of time, I
yeah.
would request you to take one more question and then we will take it offline. We have all the participants' data, so we can always get back to them. And I would, after the last question that you respond to, I would request Nikhil to propose a warm vote of thanks for you.
Yeah. So there is one important question. Can we integrate with accounting software? Yes, there are APIs which are available. Through that API, you can collect the output and use it for analysis. You can use it for drawing various types of commentaries, and that's how you can use it. See, what will happen is you will not give any information which is like you'll give historical information, and you can put a proper cyber security as well as privacy as well as various types of restrictions on flow of information. So when you integrate, you have to be extremely cautious of this like thing. There are APIs which are available. You can surely integrate with various accounting software. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Yukti. Nikhil, can I request you to please propose the vote of thanks?
Sure, Josefa. Thank you so much. I think we've just been through a amazing experience over the last 1 hour. It's certainly been a learning experience for me, and I'm sure it has been for most of us. Yukti has been a regular speaker on, on our fora, professional fora, on the use of Chat GPT, more specifically for the purpose of auditing and internal auditing. And believe it or not, it was just this morning that we had a chat, and I requested her on a prompt from Josefa that could you kind of focus a little more on the finance function, because we may have a lot of our clients who are handling, finance, accounts, legal compliance, and other areas. And I think it's a tribute to her capabilities that, she did such a quick turnaround and came out with all these amazing examples. You could see her really work it out absolutely in front of you, that, whether you want to recruit someone, whether you want to create a job description, how do you go through the hiring process, what kind of questions you need to ask, how do you rate a person, how do you access knowledge, how do you train your staff, can you go in for a self-service system? Can you go in for reconciliations? By the way, I believe she's also created a tool for reconciliations which some of us can use. How do you do financial analysis, JV analysis, fine-tuning of data, policy manufacturing, if I can call it manufacturing, preparation of risk registers? I think uh, the main learning for me is that a the utilization and the potential for use of Chat GPT is absolutely endless. I think it is absolutely critical if we want to stay alive, professionally alive, that we adopt it and embrace it as soon as possible, because I think the more we use it, the more we will learn to use it in a better manner as far as our own formal functioning is concerned. The notes of caution were very, very clear. And I would like to give a small example that there was a lawyer who used Chat GPT and he got some case references which the judge in the US court caught, and these were fake cases. Okay, so there are instances where Chat GPT can give you false information. Do not think that we can just put our brains on the side and go ahead and just use Chat GPT. Use your own element of experience, human intelligence. I think most of us are blessed with a lot of real life experience, so we can use it to make sure. And certainly, if we master the aspects of perfect prompting or better prompting, you will definitely get much better results. You can use it to create your own chatbots, to create your own GPT, and to do so many other things, which I think finance and I think audit professionals already to some extent are aware of the multiple uses of this. So Yukti, thank you once again for I would say almost a mesmerizing session. Definitely a fantastic learning experience for all of us. And it's been a pleasure collaborating with you over the years, and we look forward to maybe answering the questions of any of our participants in this particular area. Thank you once again, and wish you all the very best. Thank you, and good night to all.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it was great speaking with you all.
Thank you. And we will meet in our next session, everybody. Thanks for logging in. On 8th of August, there is a session on governance and analytics taken by eminent chartered accountant Deepti Singhal. So we'll see you then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.